up, stranger?
Stress. Been looking for work.
What you looking for?
2 ounces of hard white.
Bitch.
People are always asking me, Kiki, the books that you write, is that about you? Is that about your life? I used to rob drug dealers. I used to traffic drugs. I was a savage. I used to get it, and I didn't care who I got it from.
I've been looking for you for 2 weeks. Where is my money?
And now I can sit here and show you guys a glimpse of my life before I turned it around.
I'm gonna ask you one more time, Kiki. Think hard, all right? Where's my goddamn money at?
Mrs. Santana, you look stunning. What are you wearing? And tell us about this new venture in the fashion industry.
I'm wearing a piece from my own line. It's called Kais, designed by my brilliant partner and friend, Karen Blackwell.
Wow. Look at Adriana Santana. She's hot. I don't see Lewis anywhere, though. I noticed Sheldon Chisholm and his family are here. Not to mention the other half-dozen criminals in here.
Oh, no, you don't. We're here to have fun.
But why are you here alone? Where's your recently acquitted husband, Lewis?
Lewis is back home resting. He has his share of bright lights and cameras. We just want to leave that whole thing behind us.
No work today. We've been here for 5 minutes and you're already profiling people? Come on now.
And what else are you looking to see tonight?
All of my friends and to show off her brilliant work. Everything that you're about to see.
We can't wait for it.
The only reason I invited you is because you're my best friend and we never get to spend time together. Plus, you're killing it in that dress. Here comes Jess. I wanted to introduce you to.
Roger that.
Then why do you have it?
She told me to keep it!
I'll be out in a minute. Stop with the lies!
He's a very flashy Haitian with a penchant for violence. He's no one to play with, Haitian.
Where's my goddamn money at?
Sakura is dead.
Play with me again. I'm tired of hearing you talk all the time. Save it. Save it.
She's my friend. She's my friend.
But I will not give up. I will not give in. And I will not get caught. Time to go hunting.
And the winner is Wes Clark. Congratulations.
Yes, she's my mother.
Rock stars. There is nothing like those wild, rebellious party animals. Entry number 60.
When I decided to pursue acting, I never thought it was this difficult after weeks of being homeless, jobless, sleeping on my friends' couches. I'm finally here!
Just take care.
What are you doing?
Shh. What's going on?
Drive, they're
Terry.
coming!
Where have you been? I've been calling you on your cell phone all day.
At work.
Faith wake up, dope sick, fiending for a sniff. Left the house, ain't tell her husband she was gone, she just dipped.
Why is it that you are taking large sums of money out of our account every single day?
While her family's at home, she's out there chasing that high. Roaming up and down the block, she run into this pimp guy. He's conversating with her, asked her if she trying to make cash. Next thing you know, she's in front of the pink house selling the ass. Then she gets dope sick again. She need that boy, so she out there searching again. She's tired of her life. For years she done wrong. Now she wanna do right. She go to rehab to get the help she need, and she tell her family.
I'm Yoshi Lomax, superstar attorney at law and fugitive.
So, you're the famous Yoshi Lomax. Probably more infamous.
I'm on the run from the federal government for crimes that I didn't commit.
Gentlemen, I'm Deputy U.S. Marshal Sharon Starr. I'll be taking things from here.
Not to mention being on the hit list of at least 3 of Miami's major crime bosses.
I wanted to apologize in person for leaving so abruptly last night.
Welcome back.
That's Vladimir Kuzetsov, a Russian crime boss. He's been a suspect in over a dozen missing person cases.
I mean, I didn't get here to be this successful for doing things the American way.
I need a list of the jury for my case with Hanju.
Oh, really? What's that worth to you? Oh my God, you're such a...
Mr. Santana is to be released upon processing.
So what do you know about Sheldon Chisholm?
What do you want to know about him?
I really need to know if you're going to take my case. I don't have time to play, Miss Lomax.
Money is not a problem.
You know anything about his case?
It's being handled by agents in my field office.
I've learned that in this game of life, in order to win,
Ready to dance?
you gotta play dirty. You might look at me and see a beautiful, confident, successful woman.
Congratulations, counselor. Yet another win.
But underneath, I'm flawed. I'm broken. And I'm scared. So I have no choice but to run until I can find a way to clear my name.
Miss Lomax is now considered a fugitive of the United States. Catching fugitives is my business, which makes her my suspect. You and your associates are relieved.
Look. She killed one of our own.
But I will not give up.
All right, people, listen up. Get a picture of Miss Lomax out there so the public knows what she looks like.
I will not give in.
Okay. People, we got a game plan. Let's break and execute.
I will not get caught.
Time to go hunt.
So we have the extended version of the dream sequence right here. Sheldon comes to visit Yoshi in her hotel room after their meeting. Yoshi looks a little nervous at first, but then you see things get a little steamy after he throws her against the wall. And right here, Yoshi thinks she has everything under control because that's how she manipulates men, through her sexuality. So, in her mind, she has him right where she wants him. You see, that's Yoshi though. She's hot, she's sexy, she's manipulative. She uses sex to get the upper hand on men. Get the win no matter what the cost. And as you can see, this is not exactly the result she was looking for. We shot this scene in Atlanta. Chuck Gomez was the director of photography. Great scene, good acting by Zasha and Wilner.
For pop R&B artist Jamela.
I picked Kelly. Yeah! Love you, hate you. I don't know if I should leave you. Stay here, right here. Push you out, I let you back. Love you, hate you. I don't know if I should leave you. Stay here, right here. For your love and hate got me running.
Can we just handle this in the morning, please?
No, I think I want to handle this right now. You can give your time to the studio boy, but I think your man can get a few minutes. All right? Hey, don't walk away from me.
You're hurting me. Stop, please.
Get in the car.
I've been down this roller coaster, around in circles. We go trips around the moon. So confused, so scared, so in love, so unfair. It's so unfair, yeah.
Standing next to me is one of the sponsors of tonight's fabulous event, music mogul Lance Wallace. How are you, Lance?
Good evening, Michelle. I'm well, thank you.
Excellent. Now, are you concerned with the recent backlash for the drug charges against your group, Grind Time? And what's the status of the case?
Worth a Billion Inc. and its artists will always maintain its innocence. This is clearly a misunderstanding. And we're here to promote positivity and give opportunity to our people and to all people. That's it.
And so what do you think about Mr. Wallace is here to promote his fashion line? He will only be answering questions about that subject.
Thanks.
So actually we got everything up until the part where you started doing that, so we'll probably start there, but we're gonna move in closer and get a closer shot of that. We'll be done with that. And then I think he wants to do some steady cam stuff, so. Obviously, the first action before they all start moving and stuff, you girls are gonna be engaging, talking, drinking, whatever. You're engaged in that, and then let them do. So don't ever stop. Don't look at them until if she pulls her out, y'all can kind of looking like trying to think what's she doing. Hey, that's it. But other than that, I want to keep the action moving. All right. No, all you can say is there's Lewis around. That's all you gotta say. There's Lewis around. That's all you gotta say.
Hello, Ms. Lomax. I'm Jasmina. I'm the VP of Lewis's New York division.
Is Lewis around?
Yes, of course. Kristen? Please. Can you show Ms. Lomax to the Grand Suite?
Right this way, Miss Lomax.
Chastity, Maria, Sydney, Mackenzie, and Lucy.
Well, hello, ladies. I'm Bella. I have a question for everyone. Why do you think rich men cheat?
Control, attention, power.
Here, you will learn how to gain ownership of all. Are you ready to take that step?
What's up, Wes Clark here, one half of the Clark Brothers and co-creator of the new series Groupie, now available on Tubi. I'm here right now with 4 easy steps for you to enjoy this series and support your boy at the same time. Step 1. Download the Tubi app. You can find it in the Play Store, the App Store, or even on Roku, Fire Stick, or any other smart TV. Step 2. Go to the search bar, type in the word Groupie. It should be the first movie that shows up. Step 3. Enjoy the show. And step 4. Make sure you like, add to your favorites, and share with your friends.
You make it sound so easy.
Because it is that easy, Sydney. So go out and support your boy. Check out Groupie, the blueprint of a self-made millionaire.
Are you ready to? Hello, Bella here. How's your Monday going? I'm guessing it's not like this, but could be. You wanna know how? Well, go check out the first episode of our brand new series called Groupie on Tubi and find out. Now, here are the few things I need you to do. 1. Go to Tubi and search for Groupie. My ladies and I will be the first ones that pop up in the results. Then, watch it and be sure to hit that thumbs up. And then, just add it to your list so you get notified when we come back with a brand new lesson. See? Simple as that. And guess what? It's free, so why wouldn't you? See you there.
Miles and racing, and that money conversation be my only motivation. Yeah. Wake up for the cake up. All praise to the Most High.
Still here? Go, check it out. You don't want to miss it.
At the top floor of the empire, staring out the window thinking they don't get higher. Pharaoh got more top to bottom, it don't get flyer. See the pain in my bravado as I inspire.
Up, y'all, this is Rayon Lawrence, and you're watching Real Talk with the director. Up, y'all, this is Rayon Lawrence, and you're watching Real Talk with the director.
Hey everyone, it's your girl Catherine Nunez, and you're watching Real Talk with the director and the council on the IE network.
Real Talk.
Hey, I'm Gina Lou, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hey, what's up? It's Logan Browning, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Real Talk.
Hi, this is Alana De La Garza, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, I'm Diane Franklin from Better Off Dead and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. You're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, this is Monique Dupree, and you are watching Real Talk with the Director on Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, I'm Stormy Maya, and you are listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
This is Vicky Judy, Orange is the New Black, and I'm here with Real Talk.
Yo, what up? This is Jay Ellis, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio. Keep it live.
Hi, I'm Frida Parks. You are listening to Real Talk Radio with the Director. Hey, I'm Issa Rae, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Nothing more, nothing less. What up? What up? What up? Welcome to another edition of Real Talk with the Director and the Jedi Council. I am the Director. We be with you for the next 120 minutes or so. And Real Talk is brought to you each and every Monday by B2S Media. We broadcast live via the World Wide Web on youtube.com/IE Network TV and Twitter. Well, not Twitter anymore. My bad. X. But actually, we pulled our stuff off of X because I don't really F with Musk. But Instagram and Facebook. What's up, y'all? It is another day. It's the 15th. It's tax day, people. I hope y'all got your taxes filed. I done seen some cats already got their taxes filed and back, and they coming in with their new clothes and
You could always tell when it's tax season. But yeah, I could always tell when it's tax season because I usually have to pay taxes on that. So it's all good. Yeah, man. So the WNBA draft is going on right now as we speak. It started at 7:30. We'll keep you up to date on what's going on there. So far, it's only been three picks. I think it's been as expected. Caitlin Clark at number one went to Indiana. Then you had I think it was the LA Sparks, was it, who took Cameron Brink. And then after Cameron Brink, you had Carmela Cardosa went to the Chicago Sky. And then you have, once again, the Sparks with their second pick just picked Rakia. I forget her last name, but so there you go. We'll keep, we got that rolling, so we'll keep you all up to date on that. Also, obviously, the I don't know. I don't mean to laugh because no one wants to laugh with people got loved ones and stuff. But O.J. Simpson passed away, and you know, I don't know why I'm laughing. It's just so bad. But I just wanted to talk about. I'm laughing because I'm thinking about this thing, OJ. One of his last interviews on Mace and Cameron's show, and he said something. He made some sort of joke, as tasteless as OJ can. They were talking about dudes, some dude, talking and opening up to his girl or his wife or whatever. And OJ's like, what do you mean open up? You mean like confess? and and that was it. Like he said that, and he said, what, like confessions or something? He said confession. And Cameron and Mace just lost it. They just couldn't stop laughing. Cameron and Mace just couldn't stop laughing when OJ said, well, what do you mean, like a confession? And so that's why I'm laughing when I say OJ. I'm not laughing at OJ Simpson passed away, but I'm just thinking about OJ, and that was one of his last interviews, and in OJ fashion, he has a tasteless take by saying, but he knew what he was doing as usual. But yeah, the OJ legacy. People saying, what do you mean legacy? Well, he does have a legacy. Unfortunately, it's not football anymore. His legacy now is, well, his case, if not one of the first, it probably was the first case to be televised like that. A major, major case to be televised. Inside cameras inside the courtroom. Normally, you get the drawings and the illustrations, and so no, they had cameras in the courtroom and they were broadcasting it, and that was thanks to, I think, Judge Ito kind of ordered that. I don't know if he ordered it or whatever the case may be, but ever since then, that it has to be, to this day, still the most high profile court case ever. I mean, I think it's fair to say that. I don't know. Yeah, Rakia Jackson, that's her name. She went to the LA Sparks. And now the Dallas Wings are picking in the WNBA draft, and they are selected JC Sheldon from Ohio State. Yeah, so with OJ, he does have a legacy. I wanted to bring that up. Unfortunately, it's an unfortunate legacy. And everybody also has been, since he's passed, everyone's the OJ conspiracies are coming up again. Um, forget about everyone, everyone's gonna debate whether he did it or not. He was acquitted. So I see Heaven Hollywood in the studio, and he was acquitted. So I'm not gonna be the one, even though I mean he can't sue me now, but I'm not gonna be the one to say that. I'm not gonna be the one to say it because he was acquitted of the murder charge. But the conspiracies are coming back up. Did he, the conspiracy of if he did it, or what do you think happened? Did he just do it himself? Was it the older son? Was it the mafia? It was a lot of different conspiracies out there. My theory was, I think it had something to do with the mafia. I don't know exactly in what way, but we know that OJ was a big gambler, you know, and stuff like that. And he was in bed, what I heard, allegedly he was in bed with the mafia at some point. So I think it could have been a mob hit, because to take out those two people, I think it took two people, honestly. I don't want to hear that ran down this person and then ran back and killed the other person. I don't buy that. That's why I didn't think he did it, because I didn't buy that. OJ's old ass ain't running down nobody. That's number one. So you're gonna run down a younger man in better shape and kill him. That's why, in my opinion, I didn't think he actually did it. But I think he knew about it. I think he knew it was going to happen. There was just nothing he could do about it, because what can you do? If it was, in fact, a mafia thing, they're like, well, you sit back, you take this case, and if you beat it, God bless you, you beat it. If not, you going down for it, and you can't say nothing, or else we'll kill the rest of your family. How about that? And that was my theory. Some people had theorized the son, which that was a decent theory. The son, because of the way Nicole, and I definitely won't go into detail with that, but the manner of which she was murdered was, if it had the fingerprints of a crime of passion, so that's why, and then we know the theory of the son who had this, whatever, I don't know if you want to call it a crush, if you want to call it an obsession, if you want to call it a relationship, I don't know what it was with Nicole, if anything, allegedly. And so some people say that it might have been him. He's kind of built big like OJ and stuff like that, and he's younger, so maybe he could run down the other guy.
Had that hat on, and several pictures that OJ had on. It was the son.
It's very, very possible that it could have been him too. Like I said, because of the fashion that it went down, that was a crime of passion. That was definitely a passion kill. Girl, Edwards just went to the Mystics.
I thought at first they were talking about Angel Reese may have went a little early and got drafted to the same team as the girl from South Carolina.
Well, they
got
the
two
same
picks
team. That would have been the Sparks. Yeah, I mean not the Sparks. That would have been no. They got another pick, the Sky, Chicago Sky, because they made a trade to move up, so they might take Angel Reese, and a lot of people are suspecting at 7 they're gonna take Angel Reese. Yeah, so. But anyway, just put a bow on the OJ legacy, quote unquote. His legacy, unfortunately, will always be, did he do it? Did he not do it? And people gonna, most people say he did, even though he was acquitted. He went to jail for that other nonsense that he did. Nobody, talks about that. That was basically a makeup decision. They just, okay, we can get him on. It was like the Al Capone going to jail for tax evasion.
You know what I'm saying? The same thing. Let's just get him. You know. And they'll probably, not to get on, I'm not going to talk about much about Diddy stuff, but that's probably, I could see them going that route with Diddy. I could see them, digging, trying to get something on him and maybe get something like some sort of tax thing or something like that. Something that they can get him on and put him in for. But, OJ did that to himself. They didn't have to dig nothing. That dummy did that to himself, not to speak ill of the dead, but anyhow, to move forward, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the WNBA as we talking about, and then of course we have a special guest today. He's gonna come on and talk with us about. I don't even want to call it good times. I call it hood times. Hood times. Oh my goodness. Is it a modern day minstrel show? That's what we want to know. Is it? Is it? I mean, is it because there are black people behind it? The performers are black. The writers are black. Yeah, but of course, this is something that Seth MacFarlane and Norman Lear devised before Norman Lear passed away, apparently. And I did take the time to watch the first. I technically watched the first 3 episodes, but I slept through episode 2. So, episode 1 I watched for the reasons of talking about it tonight, and we have to talk about that. That's the main event today to talk about. And our colleague and friend to the show, Bruce Penn, will be joining us. He's actually in the green room now. I'm probably gonna bring him in a few, but it's it's bad, bro. It's worse than what I thought. It's worse. Now I know, Heaven Hollywood. I know that you are, you haven't seen the show. I'm not even sure if you've been keeping up with the whole thing, but I did tell you off the air about so Bernadette Stannis has made statements about it. Her and Jimmy Walker actually had very small voice roles in the show, but they didn't know. I guess they were probably doing because when it comes to animated shows, people, you have your main guest star, and then a lot of people do double work, right? And let me bring Kevin to us. He's in the green room. Welcome back, Kev. And in a lot of these main shows, there's double work done. Like you'll have someone who's doing a main character, then they might be doing 3 other characters in animated shows. I mean, look at Seth MacFarlane. He does so many characters for Family Guy and for the other one. So same thing, Cleveland Show, all of that. So they did they contributed voice. What she said was they contributed small voice work. They had no idea what it was going to look like, or I guess it was not drawn or anything yet. None of that stuff. They just did the voice work and contributed. Jimmy Walker did do one of the voices he did ended up in the pilot. I just don't remember which character, and I hope it wasn't the Roach. but yeah. So also Angel Reese just got drafted to the Chicago Sky. Yep. So she will be teammates with Carmela Cardoso.
Nice.
They've been built. The Chicago Sky need rebounding. I was looking them up. I'm like, they got a bunch of shorties on that team. Like they shorties meaning like bunch of players under 6 feet. And so now they just drafted 2 players over 6 feet, which is awesome. So Angel Reese now goes to the Chicago Sky. That's where she just went. And she will be playing alongside Carmelo Cardoso. That's dope. That's what's up. Yeah, so we'll get into the good time stuff. I just wanted to elaborate on this now that Adrice has officially won love, unless she's officially drafted. You know,
Ooh, look at that woman. Good
yeah,
Lord.
and she looks great too.
Oh,
I'm gonna
she's
say this.
beautiful.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
gonna say
I'm
this
a,
too. The WNBA, I think they're going this class of players. They are going to help change the temperature of the WNBA when it comes to. I mean, she is in there looking phenomenal. Cameron Brink, who was drafted earlier, looked phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? So these women, they look like women. I'm gonna keep it 100. I gotta keep it 100, and they don't mind looking like women and acting like women and being.
even Caitlin Clark in her interview had a little dress on. I said, okay.
She had a little Prada dress on, killing it, you know. So I'm just sitting there like, yo, it's nothing wrong with still being a woman and looking like a woman and balling out, because they can ball out. They'll still bust
Yeah.
a man's behind. You know what I'm saying? Some of them, you know, depending. And I like that about the WNBA. And I believe, let's keep it real, just like Bill Burr. Like Bill Burr said, he's one of the most raw comedians ever. He's like, look, what do I want to? Why should I watch your league? I have a league to watch, the NBA. He's like, but let's keep it a break. Oh, she's starting to cry a little bit. That's what's up. Let's keep it a buck. You want men to fight? First of all, you shouldn't be relying on men to support your league. It's a women's league, so women should be supporting it. That's number one. But they don't. They don't.
No. It
No,
shouldn't
no,
matter.
they know
People should support
Kev. Women do not support that league. That's why the league makes no money.
No, they don't. But you know what? But it's sports. So it's just like, you know, it's I don't believe in that philosophy. Listen, women aren't into sports like men are into sports. You know, for the most part. You know, some women are fly by night sports fans, and you know, some women are into it. Some women are football fans. Some aren't. Some actually, you know, are into ball, and then some actually play ball.
Yeah.
For the most part, but for the most part, when it comes to like season tickets, purchasing tickets, taking families out to games, tailgating, all of that stuff, 9 times out of 10, the who's doing it is the guys. It's dudes that's doing it.
No, I'm not denying that. But what I'm saying is, instead of, this is what I wish I had the Bill Burr soundbite. Instead of spending all your energy ridiculing men for not supporting the WNBA, and put your energy into trying to motivate women to support it as well. So that's what I'm saying. It's not
logically that doesn't make sense. Here's why. Again, because what I said, women are not spending money on games. It's going to be the only way women are really going to go out
is that
and support these games is if it's the system. It's the game. It's sports. It's been like that for decades.
It's sports, but there's plenty of women. There's plenty of women sports fans. The women be showing up. Look how many women be at men's sports games.
Yeah, but that's what they're into. They're not into the women. They're not into the women for whatever reason. They're not into their sport, particularly
right.
The WNBA.
So what I'm saying is, does it make sense to ridicule the men for not being into it, but not ridicule the women that are not into it, that actually watch men's sports?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. Because of it, and again, it's because men run the show when it comes to that. As far as the advertising, as far as the spot on where it's played on TV, how it's shown on TV, when it's shown on TV, what markets it's shown in. So the women are not going to show up if they don't know about it. If it's not being pushed, and again, that onus is not just on.
WNBA has been around for a long time.
Yeah, it's been around for a long time, but a lot of people don't know about that. Didn't know about it until now. And I'll say the last 3 or 4 years is when it's really started to
I
become.
mean, of course they knew about it. It's just that they didn't have the interest. Now, I'm gonna tell you this: this class of athletes,
They have more men interested. I'll tell you that much.
they got more men interested
Because the women look more like women. You know, men were not interested in when the women were looking like men.
and they have no problem being.
You see them on social media now, out with what they look like off the court. So that puts
so it's definitely more. They're pushing that, but here's the funny thing: when they were trying to go that route earlier in the WNBA career with Lisa Leslie and some of the other ones, the feminists was frowning on that. See, this is the problem. The feminists was turning, and it turned guys away because it's like, oh yeah, we don't need you looking at us because of it. It was the feminists that drove the men that were supporting it away because they were trying to lean into that with the glamour shots of Lisa Leslie off the court, the glamour shots of even you can even see they had Rebecca Lobo made up and people like that. So they tried it earlier, and when the few men that they got, interested, it's like they got mad because men was like, hey, yeah, I think Lisa Leslie's hot. That's why I watch her. That's not enough for people, and it's like, hey, that's okay because women do that all the time. Women watch, I mean, hell, you had Holly Berry sitting courtside, thirsting over Kobe Bryant. You know what I'm saying? And she literally said, they were like, so who's your favorite player? Who you here to see? She looked right in the camera and said, Kobe. You know what I'm saying? So women do it, right? They may not be into the sport, but a certain guy might spark their interest and they watch it. So that's what I think this class is gonna bring. And before we move on to the next and bring in Bruce, I want to say, congratulations to everybody so far that's been drafted. Alyssa Pilley went to Minnesota. So yeah, they had flip-flopped with Chicago. Chicago really wanted Andrew. They really wanted. They had a good draft because they worked on their size, and they got two women over 6 feet. Andrew Reese at 6'3", and Carmela Cardoso at 6'7". So they work, and Angel Reese is an absolute beast on rebounds, and so is Carmela Cardoso. So they're going to be they're going to do something for that team. They're going to make an immediate impact on that team. Of course, we know Caitlin Clark. We all knew where she was going. She is the number one pick. She is the talk of the town, and rightfully so. Caitlin Clark is going to, I think she'll make an immediate impact, but she's not going to make the impact that a lot of these people who are fair weather fans and not even, really fans of the sport, she's going to make the impact. She's going to be in there. She's going to be starting because she's, they're already ticket sales are skyrocketing already for her. But, once again, at Iowa, she was able to take 30 shots. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that's going to be the case in the pros.
Well,
you got other people on your team.
Well, y'all gonna get y'all wish now because now that they done sprinkled the saltine all over the place. The saltine cracker is now in the game.
Well,
so now
this is
the whole world is going to be.
That's what it is. And like I said, Caitlin Clark, well deserved of the number one pick. She was the best college player.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Well deserved of that. And I like her game and stuff like that. It's just the, of course, the media and even more so than the media, the fans. It's always, this is America. America is always going to be a black and white thing. Let's keep it 100. Always. Yep. Whenever there's a white athlete, because to be honest with you, it's so rare. I'm not trying to be funny. it's so rare that a white athlete is better than a black athlete, particularly in this sport. So they really get behind that athlete and push him. Now, it's been a lot of
Okay, now
European
let's see. Now
players.
that goes to that. Now that reverses back. That reverses the conversation back to what we were saying earlier. Now that it's crackerized, now it's going to be a big push to be like, yo, let's support the WNBA. We got one of ours is in there. She can't dunk, but goddamn, the girl can rebound and she can shoot. Let's go.
Well,
let's get behind the female Steph Curry. Let's go.
Well, here's the deal. They're gonna get behind. They're gonna get behind it. But I'm gonna tell you right now, there'll be people watching it. I don't know how much. I mean, the sales are already going up, so that's already showing, right? Yeah, there's gonna be people getting behind it, but not so just because. Because to be honest with you, Caitlin Clark is a generational talent. She's very talented, right? In what she is, and she can bring a lot to this sport, right? And she is what, as far as America Cubs, she's the American girl that they want to put in there from the Midwest. She's from that area. You know, now she just drafted to another team in the Midwest. They're gonna push that American Pie bull crap, 100 times over. So, and she's the perfect person to put there. It's just like that's why I said when Larry Bird and Magic Johnson came out, America was on Larry Bird, right? Magic Johnson was the better player. He had the championship from college, came into the pros, but those two changed. They resurrected a dying NBA league. Those two, and their rivalry in college came over to the pros, and it just blew up, and they leaned into that. That's what I think they should have done with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. That should have been the Magic and Bird rivalry type of deal. Lean into it because they're 1-1 in college. Angel Reese got beat her for the championship. Caitlin Clark never won the championship. Now she's coming to a pretty good team, pretty decent team, and that her addition to this team could put them way in contention. So they might see each other down the line. And I would have leaned into it. I really would have.
But that would never happen, and here's why. It's not going to happen with particularly with women's basketball, because number one, the type of player that women players are, they don't really. It's not a real grudge going on between them. And even
but see, that's the thing. That's what this class is changing. That's what they're changing. This is what's gotten people. The trash talking is what got people watching it. You know what I'm saying? That's what.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's only. Yeah, but see, but with these two, it's not a how can I put it? It's not like Magic Bird was like a real like there was some beef there. Like it was some beef.
Nah, it wasn't personal. It wasn't personal. Magic and Bird. It was not personal. It was the fans is what made it personal. Just like right. Well, it was personal because the fans made it that way, right? Because Magic Johnson thought or knew he was the better player, but of course, America's gonna lean in to the Great White Hope. So that's what he did. So that gave Magic even more of a chip on his shoulders to go out and do what he did, and what he accomplished. He knew he had a better college career than Bird. He won a championship, and Bird did not.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And but he knew that. So it wasn't like, no, it was competitive and stuff like that. It wasn't like I hate Bird, personally. It was just what the fans do, just like what they're trying to do with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. And you see them off the court, and these girls are, they laughing it up and they're talking and blah, blah. They're not going to hate each other because they don't hate each other, but they're both very competitive players. When you're on Magic Johnson's, when he gets on the field, he gets on the court, It's all about winning, period. You know what I'm saying? Angel Reese got that dog in her. She got the dog mentality. It's about winning. I don't care who you are. Michael Jordan will take you out to dinner. He took Patrick Ewing out to dinner and, and then bust his ass and drop 50 on him the next night. So that's just what it was. Or even vice versa. Drop 50 on him and then say, hey, you want to come out? He take him out to dinner, but it's really beforehand because he butter him up. Take him out to dinner. Yeah, your money's no good with me. I'm paying for everything. And then go in and drop 50 on you the next day and dunk on you
Suckers
and
fall
put
for it
his
every
nuts
time.
put his nuts on his forehead. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was with him. So we'll see. You know, we'll continue to update you on the WNBA. I saw we lost Heaven Hollywood, but yeah, we'll get to we're gonna bring in our guest panelist today because I'm about to we about to go in. So we about to put a disclaimer out right now. So yeah, y'all about to hear some stuff that you may not like to hear, but it's necessary. It's necessary. So just putting that out there. And but we want to talk about this thing. I'll call it what I want to call it later. But this show, the animated, and it's not a reboot, honestly. It's actually a sequel series. If you look at it from a technical standpoint, it's a sequel. But this is an animated version, an adaptation, let's call it that. An animated adaptation of allegedly the show Good Times. Now, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. We had a panel up here. It was a great show. And we were talking about the trailer. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Kev. I'm about to let's bring Bruce in. Bring in our guest panelist. He is a filmmaker, he is an educator. Strong Island's in the building. Bruce, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys? What's happening?
What's going on, brother?
What's going on?
Yeah, so what I was saying, so the other show, I know you probably saw clips of it. You know, we had the panel up here and we talked about it. Shout out to them. We were talking about the trailer because only the trailer was out at the moment.
Right.
And we were also breaking down the poster, right? The poster that had all of these things on it. And including the cockroaches, all that stuff. So anyway, we're like, okay, we're not, of course we weren't gonna indulge and watch the whole series, but a couple of us did say, you know what, we will watch maybe the first episode so we can we can actually talk about it and know what we're talking about and stuff like that. So that's what I did. Watch the first episode. I know, Bruce, you watched it as well. And I have to say it's worse than what I even thought it would be. I mean, just stereotype after stereotype after stereotype from start to finish. And I don't understand how the writers of the show, because you have what's her name? Let me get her name right. I ain't trying to I'm not trying to blow nobody up, but I'm trying to keep it real. The showrunner. She is Renata Shepard, the showrunner. She's also the writer of the first episode pilot. She wrote a few episodes, and she is the showrunner. So she has final say on, how these episodes are written and performed and put down. So anyway, I don't know what justification that she has putting these stereotypes out there like that. And it's like, why is it? Here's a question for everybody. Why is it that when these shows are put together, right, it's like, well, I'm going to say Hollywood only feels that the only thing that sells that's black is either black trauma or black, hood stuff and black stereotypes. That's like the only three things that you really see, even with the good shows. Like, I'm a big fan of Power, but that could be considered black trauma. That could be considered black hood stuff. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, it seems like, why does it feel like this is all, what would make them come to the table with this when we don't know for sure, but we have a good idea that it didn't start out like this at first. Because when they told
I'll tell you what. And yes, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'll tell you what. It's because Seth, trick ass, is comfortable in his power. He is comfortable with his status that he can go ahead and do what he did, and he's gonna bring on staff to come along to get along. So we can almost get the stamp of approval. Like, look, this is who our showrunner is. Look, this is who this person is. And look, we even got a guest appearance by Jimmy Walker and Thelma. Look, we got this. And look at this shiny black one we got here. And we got a light-skinned one right here. And so on and so on and so on. He's comfortable in his crackerness that he's going to do what he is doing. That's just point blank, plain and simple. Because you know what? If you weren't comfortable in that, you wouldn't reach out to anybody to say, hey, do you think this is a good idea? No.
Well, that's funny.
Go
ahead, Bruce.
You know what, Kev? I don't even fault, because Seth MacFarlane does what Seth MacFarlane does. That's who he is.
Exactly.
That's what he does.
Exactly.
I fault producers like Steph Curry, an NBA legend, but I'm also wondering, did they really know what they were getting into? I think they didn't ask enough questions in the beginning. I think they were sold with, hey, it's it's based on a legacy film, sitcom, family sitcom that many of us grew up with, iconic characters, Norman Lear, king of sitcom, Steph Curry. Sure, I'll go along with it. And then when you pull back the curtains, you realize what a piece of shit is. But Wes, you asked a question. You opened up with a question that said, why do we go for it? Number one, the stereotypes, because it takes a lot of work to create multi-dimensional, realistic characters. It's very easy to write stereotypical characters based on tropes and stereotypes, because that you could just pump those out. But to create multi-dimensional characters is hard work. And they weren't about putting in any work.
I can
not only that, but also to piggyback off what Bruce just said, but it's also the fact too that you don't, in order to make multidimensional characters, that means the stereotypes no longer work.
Or to a lesser
which
degree,
one is true? Or are we multidimensional, or is it the stereotype? Which one is it?
But we're all multidimensional. But when you actually, so the biggest problems I had, and I spoke to Wes about this ad nauseum, the biggest problem I have with the whole thing is, one, it's technically flawed. It's not even a technically funny show or sound.
It's not.
I looked at the voicing. The voicing don't even seem to match the animation. If you look at it, it looks like it's delayed or it's off. I'm like saying, is that on purpose, or they just don't give a shit? I mean, that's number one.
I guarantee you, it's on purpose.
But I don't see the purpose of that. It's just bad. It's just technically bad. The other thing is, in fairness to Good Times, now many of us grew up with Good Times. Don't forget what Eric Monty fought against, what John Amos fought against, was
Yep.
those stereotypes. That's why
Yep.
John Amos got the boot, because
Yeah.
he did not want to he would. They all were upset that the main character became Dynamite, and this kind of buffoonery characterization of JJ. Until later, when he became he had his own ad agency, I believe, and he had his own business and he became more successful. But that wasn't until the last season or so.
Like the last season, yeah.
The last season. But I think, and Wes was saying, this is not a reboot.
Yeah.
It should be called
It's a
Good
sequel.
Times because it has nothing to do with. I mean, it's funny. It is a
This is like a whole nother family that was in the
millage
building.
of stereotypes. Everyone sounds alike. Everyone's got the same vernacular, the same hood mentality, except maybe the even the character, the female character, which is supposed to be Michael, the militant midget.
Yep.
Even she is a departure from the articulate, intelligent, progressive thinking Michael.
Yeah.
Because she's just a smart hood rat. She's a smart hood rat.
That's
she's
what
got
it is.
flies coming flying around her. I mean, they even had to make her part of the cesspool of stereotypes. They couldn't even leave that to be a, and don't forget, Thelma was articulate. She wanted to be a dancer. She wanted to go to nursing school, be a doctor. Michael wanted to be a lawyer. I mean, a judge. Everyone had aspirations that they just stripped away, and we're just in the hood, and we're happy to be in the hood. We want to dodge bullets. We want to sell drugs and dodge bullets all day, and we're good.
Sell drugs, dodge bullets,
and sing with roaches.
It's oh my God. So this is what for those of you that have not watched it, I'm not going to tell you to watch it. This is why we watched it. So you don't have to
watch it. We did the dirty work for you.
We did the dirty work for you. Now, the show opens up with its theme, whatever that is, a little hip hop theme, whatever.
And the rap is not even that good. Sorry to say that, but the opening song,
honestly,
the theme song,
I was like, could have been better.
It wasn't even good.
Yep. And I'm trying to say that's just period, right? So then you got the very first opening sequence. You have the main character, right? What's his name? I forget his name. The main character, right, who was played by
it's basically James Evans Jr.
JP Smooth. Well, he's not James Evans Jr.
I think.
No, his name is he's his grandson. But he is singing in the shower, and he's singing in the shower. The ending
accompanied,
right? No, I'm about to say that too. They're singing the ending part of Good Times, temporary layoffs, Good Times, and he is accompanied doing a duet with a cockroach. Now, if you guys remember the show we did a couple weeks ago, we broke down the poster. And there was a picture of two cockroaches sailing, who made a sailboat out of like a can or something like that. And we talked about that we focused on that for a good hot minute. We was like, what the heck is this? Why is this? Forget about what why is this? And there's one of the posters right there. And I'm like, listen, bro, this is crazy right here. Right there, as you can see, two cockroaches made a sailboat out of a can. So one of the cockroaches was singing in the shower with the main character, and literally on some duet stuff, doing the call and answer, temporary layoff, and he's singing it like. Why does everybody talk like this?
I mean, even this picture, but even this picture right here. Look at this picture. This picture is showing two roaches swimming in what seems to be a flooded apartment, and they're just sitting there eating which comfortable.
Yeah,
like
they're just sitting there comfortable. There's an actual
like-
episode. I didn't see the episode, but I saw a screenshot from it. There's an actual episode where same deal. Their apartment is flooded, and he's like floating around on one of those life reserve, like the floaty things in the apartment. So right out the gate, they're establishing that Black people have no problem living with roaches. They're establishing that Black people
Lie
don't
number one.
pay their bills, right? Don't pay their bills, and that's why
Lie number two.
the heat was off. So the radiator, who was an inanimate object, classic Seth MacFarlane.
Oh,
Radiator
wait
says,
a minute. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hold on. The radiator. First of all, in that type of tenement, that type of building, they don't even have those kind of radiators. Do your homework.
well, I mean,
they don't even.
They know that people don't care.
Mm.
They know that people won't care. If they trying to land some sort of stupid joke, and that point, they don't care about that. The point is, the radiator says, "I will come back when you pay your bills." Then another one right there. Then we talk about what they say. So they also established that Black people, with the flood thing. So you're just gonna let that happen? Like I said, I didn't see the episode. I saw a
Here's the
screenshot.
thing, Wes. So in the sitcom, although the original sitcom had many stereotypes, we understand that. Every sitcom has Archie Bunker had stereotypes. It's stereotypical, I get it. Every sitcom had some degree of stereotypes that only in hopes that they were relatable characters on the general
on some level.
Right. So, but the Evans family was never comfortable with their situation, and they tried their damnness to get out of that situation.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was.
Can you repeat that again?
I
should repeat that again.
I said the one thing about the Evans and the sitcom is they were not comfortable with their situation. They always tried to better themselves.
I'm sorry, Bruce. I'm sorry, Bruce. The people in the bleachers didn't hear you.
They really did. They tried to better
really...
themselves because look at it, even it came down to there was an episode where JJ kind of got involved in drugs and things like that. It had come to that because he was not comfortable with his poverty and situation, and he thought, what the hell, if I got to do this to get my family out of the ghetto, I'm gonna do it. James Evans, the father, he was going to go off and be the preacher's sidekick to the side hustle, the shady preacher, played by Roscoe Lee Brown, because he was going to make enough money to get them out of the ghetto. All of them were willing to do whatever they had to do to better their situations. So this sitting around singing with cockroaches while they're underwater is such a big slap in the face to even poor people. People, the average poor person is not happy to be poor. They're not comfortable to be poor. They try to make do in their situation, but they're not just comfortable to say, as long as we ourselves, and that's kind of what
that's pretty much what their message was.
As long
we're trying to be. We're not the Evans of old. We're the Evans of new. And as long as we be ourselves, that's all
good.
that matters. What? That's your message?
And that message right there is where my effing problem comes in at. Because this is where this is how the stereotypes get tied in. And that was my point about the stereotypes, is when you start to paint a narrative. And again, they're taking a brush and they're starting to paint the narrative again. Like, look, this is what we need y'all to be, because now y'all coming out of the trap era is almost over now. Kids are starting to become a little bit more smart, a little bit more intelligent, starting to get back to, let's go to college. Let's start doing some
and
things.
not
Let's
even
start
that. They're
being
learning how to
outspoken.
make money. They're learning. They're getting more opportunities
Exactly.
through technology to make money
Legally.
legitimately.
Yeah.
Yeah, to legitimately make money.
But Kev,
and not
yes. Go ahead. No, sorry, Wes.
No, I'm saying so. Yeah, they legitimately. So there's more opportunity there for them. And yeah, go ahead, Bruce. You
But
can go ahead.
I would never fault white America who serves up trash. I would never fault them. I fault the black people that eat the trash and
Yeah.
distribute the trash.
Well,
Yes.
That's
no,
the
I
problem.
fault everybody.
It's not that
I fault
they're
everybody.
serving trash. We should expect America to continue serving trash.
Right.
There's nothing changed. But the
Right.
fact that we
Yeah.
got black writers, we got black producers, we got it's just it's like, what are you thinking to say this is good to serve our community? Let's serve this piece of shit instead of saying there's no way I'm attaching my name to this.
You're basically, basically, you're the staff that's helping to serve the garbage.
Right. Don't forget,
You're helping to serve the meal.
there is no series without an audience. The audience could
True.
come out and say, hell no. And actually, if you read social media a lot, like Wes and I, we've been following this, the backlash has begun. Now they're coming for Steph Curry. Now they're coming for Steph Curry saying, Steph, what the hell are you thinking about?
What are you doing, bro? What are you doing?
What are you doing?
But and he don't even subscribe to what's that? He doesn't subscribe to Section 8 vouchers. He doesn't subscribe.
I doubt
to,
if he's
people
even
having
seen
Section
the
8 vouchers.
show. I doubt if he even seen the show.
He may not have, but here's the thing. On that note, and I see Ralph in the green room. I don't see his picture up, but he's in the green room. Maybe he's on. So I'll bring him in. But perfect segue. Here's a little bit of what's known as, which I hate this name too, but it is infamously known as Black Twitter. So Black Twitter has nothing good. It's an article from The Root. Black Twitter has nothing good to say about the new Good Times reboot. And it says here's one person says, the trailer for the Netflix series Good Times, an animated revival of the 1970s sitcom, is out. And then someone here puts the disrespectful and distasteful. This is disrespectful and distasteful. They took a show that was based on a solid, hardworking family into a cartoon caricature of Black America. Tried to guise it under the show Good Times name. Another person says Esther Rose literally fought for the black father representation of Good Times. She risked everything. And then they killed off John Amos. She literally left the show. We can't keep spitting in their faces like this. Is there someone else? So another person says, nah, just give me the Boondocks because they warned us about this. Which they did. Shout out to Aaron Magruder, creator of the Boondocks. I mean, that was a show.
Didn't he walk away from this? Didn't he walk away from this project?
Oh, well, what you call it? The other guy who was part of creators of not Aaron Magruder, but the other guy, Carl Jones.
Yeah.
Carl Jones said, and I think I have his tweet up here as well. Carl Jones, where is he at? It says here where he said
he was part of the initial.
He was part of the initial version, the initial thing, and he saw what they had going on, and he thought better. He basically said, and I'm paraphrasing because I can't find the exact quote, but he basically said, I was involved in Good Times from the very, he put in caps, from the very, very beginning. He said, and further along, I had to remove myself and leave it due to creative differences. He left the show, the series. He's like, although I'm still credited as a creator, He said, I'm still credited as a co-creator or whatever he's credited as. He said, however, I have not, I left the series due to creative differences, quote unquote. So, and we know
But
he probably
creative
saw what
differences
they were
mean
doing.
audience.
He
Exactly.
saw
Audience
that piece
what?
of shit. He saw the piece of shit that was being created. And he said,
Yeah.
maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
Maybe
doing
not.
that. You cannot put out the Boondocks and then come with this.
You can't.
You can't even be related to the Boondocks and then come with this. It's crazy.
So, Wes, we
So
were talking before about what is your guess of what Black America will either embrace this or reject it? What is your guess? I say it's generational. I say, and I've been an educator for over 20 years. I teach high school and middle schoolers. They will love it. I hate to say that. It bothers me and pains me. But
oh my God.
they are going to love it because they are in a generation where anything goes. There's the level of disrespect that they carry daily and accept daily to each other. This is just this is just a basic mimicking of what they see every day, being disrespectful to themselves and the way they speak to each other and their outlook on life. So this is a reflection of their own generation of disrespect. It is the older generations that's going to say, "Hell no."
Yeah, hell no.
No, I think
agree.
no. I give the younger generation a little bit more credit than that. I don't think it's going to be all of them. Is it going to be a good part of them? Yes, I do agree that there's going to be a handful of that's just going to see it for the entertainment value. And
don't forget, I teach.
They're going to look at it like,
every
oh,
day.
it's just entertainment, right?
Yeah.
And fortunately, hopefully, they'll look at it and they'll see it, as you put it, as a mirror. Hopefully, it's not a mirror, because God forbid that there's some people out there that actually live like that. Hopefully, they'll see it as a mirror and be like, wait a minute, this is not what I look like. This is not how I act. This is not how my family act. This is not how my mom raised me. This is not how my dad raised me. This
I
is,
think
here's
you
the
can hope
difference.
that.
Kev, here's the difference. Although they may not experience those things, they still think those things are funny.
Right?
They'll think it's funny, even if they have not. That has not been their lived experience. They'll still say, "That's funny." You see the roaches singing, "That's funny," and we're saying it's not funny, not funny at all.
Right. And
that's
I've heard comedians make jokes about. I've heard comedians make jokes about roaches singing, dancing, whatever. It's a joke, right? It's a stand-up comedian, whatever. In that aspect, like I said, the fact that I'm gonna say this, it's not even the fact that the roach was singing. It's the fact that the roach was singing along with him, and he wasn't trying to kill it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the whole point.
And that's the main part. Because I grew up with roaches, and let me tell you something. The first time you see a roach, it's on sight. Like everything is getting thrown at the roach.
Right.
Until it is dead, half a room will get broken trying to kill one roach.
Much less trying to sing with it.
I will kill a roach. I don't care if it embarrasses somebody. I will kill a roach in someone else's house.
Right.
If I see it, it's dead.
Dead.
Just the other day, right? Down here in Atlanta, they got the water bugs, those big roaches, those big whatever. They come from outside. I saw one crawling outside my house, my apartment building, nowhere near my apartment, and I killed that son of a bitch. And I made sure I killed him because I'm like, I don't want you to somehow wander into my shit.
Along with it. You didn't sing along with it.
I didn't sing either. I should have. I should have said "good times" and then stomped on his ass like I did. But I would have sung with him, but I'd have killed him. So
He was sung with him
I
as you're
mean, that's
killing him.
yeah, as I'm killing him. So my point is, that's the main thing about it to me. That what really took away the funniness of it. You have, you heard comedians before say, "Yeah, man, roaches, so and so roaches." I think even Marlon Wayans did a little bit about how his roaches was gangster and they
Yeah,
was
that's
this and
funny.
the other.
It's
That's funny, but
funny.
he's not saying like he chilling with him. It, you know what I mean?
But
And it's
it's
not
this.
presented
But
in this
Wes,
context.
this has a lot to do as imagery as well. See, when you're just
Yeah.
telling stories, the image is in your mind and then it goes away. But you are embossing. You're almost um, immortalizing or memorializing these images because once you see them, they're there. You can go back, you can watch it again, you can take screenshots. They're memorialized. If when comedians tell jokes about stuff, it's only memorialized in our mind because we
Right.
visualize what he's saying. So
Right.
imagery is very
Is a
powerful.
big part. Yeah, it's
And
very.
so when I look at these
Very.
images, when I look at the little baby that's selling drugs
Drug
and
dealer.
with the
Yeah.
gold chains and the and shooting guns behind him, and then you got the hookers in the back, you got the prostitutes. I'm thinking, good God, this is not funny. It's not funny.
It's not. It's not at all.
The
And
writing
I'll
sucks.
add this. Yeah, the writing was terrible. And I want to say this too, since we're talking about the writing, let's kind of go over the first pilot episode. As you pointed out off air, it seems like they pulled from a few different original Good Times episodes.
About 6 episodes they pulled lines from.
Like lines and thoughts from. Here's the baby Dalvin. So like we said, the baby, he is a drug dealing baby.
And that comes from the one episode where JJ got hooked up with these drug dealers and got kicked out by the mother.
Right.
And said, as long as you're doing this, you are not welcome in
Yeah.
my house because that is not what the Evans are about.
Yeah.
Kicked him out of the house. Well, by the end of the episode, he was back in. But this is this guy's lifestyle. This baby's life. This is his lifestyle.
Is his lifestyle, played by Slink Johnson, who voices him. You have, so they have him, and he's like you said, that one, they created this character and took stuff based on that one episode. Also in this episode, they reference the original Good Times a few times, which from what I understand, as it gets further into the season, they try to get out from under the Good Times shadow, from what I understand, right? Which what they should have just did that from the beginning and not called it Good Times.
They did
not called it Good Times.
Hood Times, I think. It should be Hood Times.
Should be Hood Times. That's
At
it.
least I would respect it.
I respect that they just said, "Oh, we're just gonna do this." It's like a parody or something.
Parody.
So now the main storyline they were revolving around was the mother, played by Yvette Nicole Brown, Beverly Evans, wanted to. It was a thing with there was like this contest, like who had the best apartment. I remember something like that
based on
in
the
Good Times.
episode with them trying to win an award for the best household, the cleanest or the beautification.
Yeah.
The beautification. They would come around, by this lady who was actually that was Ned's wife, Ned's ex-wife, Ned DeWino's ex-wife, who was the judge. And and they did all this to beautify the house. That's where they got that character.
That's where they got that from, and that was really like one of the main stories in this particular episode.
Yeah.
She was saying, "I want to return the glory to the Evans family, and because they won every year, and I promised." I guess they were referring to Florida Evans, because she said, "I promised your grandmother on her deathbed you know, that we will return this glory to the Evans name. And so that was one of their main storylines. But then they had the part where he goes out because they you know, the rent or the heat wasn't paid, and then he goes to the pool hall. I know there was a pool hall episode as
There
well.
was a pool hall episode as well.
Yep. So they took a lot of elements from the original Good Times,
mixed it up in a bowl and threw it out.
Yeah, it just threw it out there. And this is where we will get to the point that we've been talking about.
The writing
even
stuff.
Beyond all of the fuckery.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's hard to say fuckery aside, but let's just say fuckery aside.
Fuckery aside.
This is not a well-written show.
No.
The show is not written well at all. Like you said, you pointed that out, Bruce. The dialogue was choppy. Because remember, now
there was no continuity, there was no chemistry.
There's no continuity.
Now
Remember, they started
when you're doing animation, as you know, Wes, when you do sometimes you never even meet the other characters, the other voices.
Exactly.
You just go in, read your lines, and you go home.
Yep.
So you could tell there's no chemistry between any of this. They're just almost like you cut these lines up, put them together, and throw it out there. I'm like, there's no chemistry at all.
Yep. And according to Bernadette Stanis, they started this project like right around COVID. Like the project was announced back in 2020.
Right.
A Good Times reboot. And that's when I had the one with the picture of the Evans family drawn. And that seems
really
like what it was.
I was really looking forward to it.
That's what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
You know, that's what a lot of people probably thought it was going to, including from what she says, Bernadette Stanis says,
her and Jimmy Walker was expecting something.
Yeah. They were expecting like to be a part of it more. And now it became from being a part of it to saying, hey, let's throw them a bone, and let them get a couple of, get a quick check from it, let them do this, let them do that. And I'm like, so here's the picture. Let me just show what it looked like. This is what I believe it was originally supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Which that is Florida Evans and James Evans and Thelma and Michael got the fist up, and JJ looking like JJ. Dynamite. He doing the dynamite pose. So that's what I believe, they were gonna go with, and they decided to change it. But it is just, aside from all of the nonsense, people, the show is not funny, and it's not only it's not funny, it's not written well.
Yeah.
Like we just said, we just mentioned, and there's more in there. We just mentioned 3 different episodes that they hodgepodged and pulled from to try to make this episode a decent episode.
Wes, I got to say one thing. We were speaking about this. I think I told you. Is it a fly or a bird that flies by and says "fuck this" or something like that?
Yeah, it's a fly.
A fly. So, of all the things that is unacceptable, which is a bridge too far, they talk about bitch, fuck, hoes, but they don't say the N-word. They bleep it out, which I think is hilarious. In other words, that's the bridge too far. Not the fact that we're going to stereotype black people, the way they talk, their mannerisms, their situations, the drug dealing, prostituting, all this other stuff. That's okay, but we can't say nigga. That I thought is hilarious. And literally, they beep it out. They beep it out
every
as if
time.
That's the bridge too far. They should have left that shit in where it belonged.
Might as well.
It belonged there.
It belonged there because we're looking at a bunch of cartoon niggas.
Right.
That's what we're looking at.
That's why it was spearheaded by white America.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care. Yeah, they wouldn't care. I don't want to hear about the black writers and all that other stuff. bottom line is we know that it's spearheaded by white America, white people, and that's why they don't want to, because they know that white America doesn't like to, well, for the most part, the white guilty doesn't like to hear that word spoken,
But
right?
here's the funny part, Wes. The funny thing, and the irony of it all is they don't mind portraying black people in the worst light possible, the most stereotypical light possible, the most unappealing, undesirable, degrading light possible. You just can't say the N word because that's a bridge too far. We might get backlash for that, but we won't get backlash from all the other fuckery. That is
Yes.
the insult. That's the
And
ironic insult.
and they've been very strategic with it, Bruce. Look at, Steph Curry is like top, he's on the top. His name is on the top. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't give a damn what Steph Curry has a little production company. Steph Curry's in the middle of trying to make the playoffs in basketball. He is not thinking about this show.
I think his
Right?
agent said, "Hey, this would be a good idea."
Invest.
I
Yeah.
I am waiting to hear from Steph Curry because he is going to hear the backlash that has already begun on social media. Like,
Yep.
why did Steph Curry put his name on this? How dare he do this? He should know better. I mean, it's coming his way, and either him or his publicist are gonna have to have an answer for this bullshit. They're gonna have to
They're
say
gonna
something
have to
like,
have something.
"Is either it's gonna be like, well, this is not the show that I thought I signed up for," or
Yep.
"I don't see anything wrong with it." He's
one
got
of
to
the
go
two.
both ways. He's got to go either
He's
way.
got to
Either
go one of the one of the two ways. I say this. There's then I don't remember what the second episode was about because I
I
fell
fell
asleep.
asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to get I was gonna try to watch a solid 3 episodes to really get off. Say, okay, all right, let's give them a shot
Let's
and
give him a
see
shot. Yeah.
can they get away from it, which they didn't. I know the episode that I woke up to, I thought I was having a dream, a bad dream.
Oh,
It had something to do with
her
the
menstrual
girl,
cycle.
her menstrual cycle. She got her period for the first time, and they go into this whole deal where it's just like
This magical adventure of her
this
period.
magic
And
adventure of her period. And her and her mother, they're riding on a tampon through a river of blood.
horrible. Fucking horrible.
Like, this don't even sound like something people make up.
But it's not
Through
funny. It's not
It's
funny.
not funny. Through a river of blood, she
Blood.
sees a bunch. She says she wants to become, because you know the old saying, when you get your periods means you're becoming a woman, and this, that, and the other. She's like, I want to become a woman, and she runs into 3 strippers with big booties and big, BBLs. They got BBLs, they got big boobs, they got all of this stuff, and they're like, yeah, girl, let us show you how to be a real woman. And they take her and make her up, and next thing you know, she's got the big BBL butt and the boobs, and they on the pole, they on the strip pole, all of this stuff.
Horrible.
Right? This
Horrible.
is the
Horrible.
third episode, and fixed around the point that this so-called adventure that she goes on with her mother of her journey to womanhood, if that's what they were trying to depict, is her and her mother riding around on a giant sized tampon floating on a river of blood. What the fuck? And I was like, what if I watch it? And at
Fuckery at
that
its
point I said,
finest.
okay.
Fuckery at
I
its
said,
finest.
okay. Yeah, I said, you know what? Mission over. I'm cutting it off. I think the second episode was about JJ or Junior, they call him. He's not JJ, he's Junior. He has they kind of once again took like a if you guys remember the movie Inside Out.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of did like an Inside Out type of play on it, where his creativity was fighting with his intelligence, like, because he's obviously depicted as a dummy. You know, they made that clear. The girl said to him, "Oh, you got left back in the 10th grade so many times, and this, that, and the other." So yeah, yeah, you got him as this dummy. So inside his he like there's an episode where he's supposedly, got a little smart, and because inside the stuff that's going on in his brain, you have the intelligence, but the intelligence is getting at the end of the day, the intelligence gets overwhelmed by the creativity. So he's supposed to be taking like a SAT. He goes to take the SAT, then they're fighting and the creativity wins. So he just basically like throws SAT out and goes and draws on the wall.
So here's the thing.
Paints a mural.
Again, I don't like the fact that they're trying to, I think, really just monopolize off of the legacy of Good Times, because the show is such a departure from it. It doesn't even show the evolution of JJ. Like I said, he went on to create his own business. I think he had like a greeting card business or advertising business that he went into with his two friends. He dressed up to go to work. They had an office and everything to show that he wasn't this stupid buffoon
artist,
artist, but he evolved into being an intelligent businessman who used his art to get out of the ghetto. That was the evolution of JJ. But to simply minimize all of that to just this idiot of a talented guy, but he's an artist, but he's an idiot at the same time, and he's a buffoon, which he really wasn't. He's never a buffoon.
No,
but it just shows the huge chasm between the innocence of that sitcom of the 70s and 80s with the buffoonery of today. And it's just a large, it's a huge chasm which they cannot bridge the two. They cannot bridge that with this bullshit that they're trying to pawn off on our youth. Because this is not for us. This sitcom, although they talk about bitch, hoe, fuck, and everything else, this is for our young kids, because it's only the younger generation that will, if they do embrace it, it will be 12, 13, and 14. These are the kids that I teach every day. And these are the kids that's going to grab onto this, say like, that shit is funny. While us older adults who know better saying, really? What's funny?
Really?
I don't get it.
What's so funny about this?
So that's really the target, as raunchy as it is, and R-rated as it is, damn near X-rated, but as R-rated as it is, this is for our younger generation, and that's
where the sad part, and that's where the sad part comes in at. Even if you want to say it's for a younger generation, okay, why is it for a younger generation? All right, let's just go with the fact. Let's just go with the narrative they painted. All right, let's just say that Cabrini Green, that building is still in existence.
Yeah.
Let's just say that it is. If they're supposed to be the new Evans family, and JJ had a business, Thelma moved on to do whatever she did, Michael moved on to do whatever he did, and let's just say that they were all successful and got out of the hood. Wouldn't the story pick up with them being in a house? Or even if they were in apartments, it would be a younger generation in apartments, but not, technically speaking, low income housing. And even if it is low income housing, it's still a come up.
Yes.
The whole story of Good Times is about the come up, about the doing better, about the challenges in life and the adversities, and then how you overcome those adversities and challenges to do better and to make better decisions and to make your life a better life. And again, the narrative of the brush, that's not even, listen, even on the best day,
On the hood's worst day, you can go to Red Hook and not find. Hell, you could go to Far Rockaway and not find. Yeah, hell, you could go to the deepest, dirtiest part of Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
You could go to the hoodest part
Yeah.
of Memphis,
Right.
and you will not find any of these characters. Not one.
So what? So Kev, seemed like what they've done is they have they've tried they've almost set us back to the 70s and 80s. For instance, why doesn't the new Evans guy, why isn't he an Uber driver? Why is he a cab driver? Like, so
Right.
why is he driving a cab? I mean, not that
Right.
there aren't cabs, but why
But
wouldn't it
why
be an
not?
Uber? I mean, if you're
Yeah.
going to sort of revamp it as going on now, as Kevin
Yeah.
said, why wouldn't you upgrade them in a new situation? So
Yeah.
basically, they're just as bad as they were 50 years ago.
50 years ago, they haven't made any
They
progress.
haven't made any
No,
progress.
knowing that what you just said and what people know if they watch the final seasons of Good Times, that they kind of set it up for the Evans family even going forward to do better. Because if that Evans family was able to finally get out of the hood, so to speak, right? Why wouldn't it set up for their kids and their grandkids to have a better, you understand? You know what I'm saying? It's
Here's
just like,
something interesting, Wes. I challenge what you said about a sequel. This sounds more like a goddamn prequel because they were doing better in the 70s. They're doing worse now than they were back then. So it's
yeah,
almost like a prequel to
yeah,
Good Times because there's nothing, and I get to play on words, but there's nothing good about this show. So even
no,
to call
there's
it Good
nothing.
Times, I don't see the twist at the end. Sort of like, hey,
No, see,
even though we have adversity, like Kevin was saying, we got things we're going to come up. There's this silver lining around the cloud. The cloud is silver lining. I don't see that silver lining, bro. I don't see it.
and
That
I
I
want to touch on something that you said, Bruce, because you do teach. You've taught over 20 years. You taught high school students, middle school students,
and
college
college.
students. You teach them
Mhm.
all, right? So, uh, the sad truth about what you said about you believing, even though it pains you to say it, that age range of youth is going to think this is funny. Now, whether they'll indulge in it, enjoy it, and binge it, we don't know. But they might look at a couple of episodes and think it's funny. But the sad truth is this: uh, when you think about, well, why would the youth think that? Like, why would I'll tell you why. We have artists called Sukihana. We got artists called Sexy Red. That, and not to just pick on them, but the bottom line is this: the type of ratchet stuff that they put out and the things that they're saying, I see the young kids singing it.
Yes, they see
Pound
themselves.
town,
But see, Wes,
blah
they
blah
see
blah, booty hole
themselves.
brown, all this other crap. I see kids singing that.
Wes, these are my
Teenagers
kids
and
that I'm talking
preteens.
about. They see
Right.
themselves in that light. That's how they see themselves. Now, here's the interesting part. So, remember when we used to watch Bugs Bunny? As
Yeah.
children, if you look at the words that he was using, indubitably, and words that we didn't understand, you know why? Because as children, we didn't care what they were saying. We were just looking at movements around on the television with quirky music, right? We wasn't
Yeah.
really following the storyline and we didn't understand what they were saying because
Yeah.
actually, again, look at the dialogue of Bugs Bunny and how educated he spoke, right? Look at the
Right.
words he was using, words that adults may not even have known or could spell. But
Yeah.
kids thought it was funny because they're looking at the images. Remember, I said it's about imagery? So
Yep.
these kids today, 11, 12, and 13-year-olds, are going to look at that TV and see the roach riding by and see the big booty girls and all this and hear all the the rap beat in the background.
Yeah.
That's what they relate to, not what they're saying and the
Yeah.
storylines. They're not going to think of all that and how it plays on culture. What they're not thinking that deep. They don't forget, this is a generation that just wants to be entertained. They just want
Yeah.
to be entertained. So when they sit back and they watch, watch what's going on, it's funny because they're looking at the images. They're not really listening to all that stuff. They see the baby selling drugs and shooting guns and the
Yeah.
big booty
Yeah.
girls. All that images are funny to them because that is what
Yeah.
they see every day. They don't
And
care
it's
what
funny
the
you said that
storyline
because
is. They don't care what the
funny you
storyline
said
is.
they don't care. Here's the funny thing: as I bring this image up, they also leaned into the ratchet culture. It's not pop culture to me. It's ratchet
Yeah.
culture. Where they have here, as you see this image here, this is in the first episode. There is the baby, rap artist,
Lil
Lil
Baby.
Baby, and Baby, as he
And
said,
Baby.
Baby Birdman, aka Birdman, Cash Money, right? So that's their little cameos or likenesses of these characters. They're all, and they seem like they're all babies, right? So that's the whole point.
They're all babies.
Right, they're all babies. So they're all attacked. So they attack this Dalvin, who is the drug dealing baby Evans. But my whole point is, I believe it was the little baby character that says something like, I'm paraphrasing, but he basically says, besides, gangster, like rapping and drug dealing is what sells. That's what he said. He was like, because he says, you if you're a rapper, you go out, you catch a charge, you sell some drugs,
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
talk about it or something like that. I'm
Yeah.
paraphrasing, but that's basically what he says.
But listen to everything. Listen to everything y'all saying. Everything y'all saying is saying what? This is, and I think this is one of the points that I don't know if anybody pointed this out, but I'm gonna just keep it a buck. This show really ain't for us.
Not.
It ain't for us. It's for white America. It's not for our consumption.
But isn't that the crime? It's being produced, created by black people.
Alongside
That's the crime. But that's the crime.
but here's the thing. They
That is
again,
the
this
problem.
goes back to what I said earlier. You cannot, there's no way that you're going to go forward with this without at least having one on board to give it
Well, of
credence,
course.
to give it authenticity, to give it some kind of credence
Absolutely.
to say, well, they're okay with it. So why is it not
Imagine.
funny to you?
Imagine, Kev, imagine all white producers, all white writers, they would not dare do this bullshit.
They would never do it.
Again,
They would not.
this is why
They would come under such scrutiny and backlash that they would rue the day that they even came out with such bullshit.
now what did I say earlier, Bruce? What did I say earlier? This is Seth MacFarlane in his whiteness, in his comfortableness.
Absolutely.
Of course. Yeah, because Seth MacFarlane is going to do one thing. First of all, Seth MacFarlane is not doing a show where he's not insulting people.
That's what he
feels
does.
he's become a multimillionaire and created $1 billion company industry with his animations. He has 3 major animated shows. You got other shows. He's got whatever. He's built that off of insulting people. Everybody.
And I'm not even mad at that. I'm not even mad at that.
That part about it, I don't matter because that's what I expect with him. The drug dealing baby, which I'm mad at that, but I'm not surprised.
Not surprised
because it's Seth MacFarlane.
I'm surprised.
The Radiator talking
he got,
and walking out didn't surprise me at all.
Remember how this show ends? The first episode ends with the baby holding a gun to.
Yeah.
That's how they
the
won.
Judge. That's how they won.
That's how they won. They didn't win by their own merits like the old Evans. They won on their own merits of being a good family, having good morals, of a good example of a family that sticks together. They didn't win on that. They ultimately win because the drug dealing baby has a gun to the judge's head to make them win.
Yeah.
It's like that's humor. There's nothing
That's
goddamn
supposedly
funny
him, and
about
that's
that
the
bullshit.
message right there.
That's the
And
message.
from what
So
yeah,
that's the what good. That's the way you end the show. That's how the show ended.
that's how the show ended. That's right. That's how the show ended, and he ends up moving upstairs or something like that. Because remember, he's been kicked out of the house.
So he moves upstairs and
He moves upstairs and all that. But another thing, it's just so much to unpack. That's why I kind of dedicated this show to it, because this is the last time I'm going to talk about it. But you know, it's really, really damaging. I couldn't get past 3 episodes, and I read somewhere that all the way through the 10th episode, you never see an evolution of any of these characters, especially the baby character, the Dalvin, the drug dealing baby. You figure, oh, well, maybe they at least have him not change his ways and not deal drugs by the end of the
some
series.
redeeming. So every character has to have some even some redeeming quality. You
Yeah.
always see the evolution of a really bad character or actor by the redemption of them. But when there's no redemption, it's just straight fuckery.
That's all it is from day one.
It's just straight fuckery.
And I tell you, I'm here to tell you, the next thing we will talk about is, will it be enough? Let's assume, because Bruce, you are the resident expert right now on the today's youth, because you deal with them, you've dealt with them for years. Let's assume that you're correct and they do accept and like the show, think it's funny, whatever you want to call it. Those group of people, is that enough?
No.
For them to continue?
No, it's not. I'll tell you why. And I knew you were going to ask that. Kevin made a point earlier. That's only a small segment. And don't forget, the amount of shows, entertainment, music, visual images that I'll say my students and our youth see every day, they have too much competition. Don't forget, when we watched Good Times, I watched it on regular TV. I didn't see cable. I didn't have cable. It was one of the shows on one of the 6 networks. So there wasn't too much competition.
Yeah.
This show cannot be supported by that small segment. First of all, white kids are not going to watch that. They're going to watch Taylor Swift. They don't care about this bullshit.
Right.
Black kids are only going to, don't forget, black kids only like things that are trendy. It's hot now, and then they move on. They'll watch it a couple times, and then they'll lose interest. I don't think it's enough to keep them like, I got to watch the next episode. Only because it's not a weekly show. It doesn't. They don't look forward to seeing it. Just like we look forward to seeing Soul Train on Saturday morning. Like, hey, wait, it's 11 o'clock. We got to watch Soul Train. You know.
Yeah.
So I think there's too much competition to hold the attention of that small segment of demographics. They've got too much competition. There's just so much ratchetness out there. This is just another portion of ratchetness. It's not like, wow, this is revolutionary. This just falls
it's another
into
piece
the
of
whole.
pie.
Yeah, this is just another part of the ratchet pie. Some of them are gonna eat. So like, oh yeah, I saw it. That was cute. Some are gonna think it's corny. Some kids are gonna be like, I saw it. One, they don't even know what Good Times is. They never saw the show. They don't know who Jimmy Walker is. They have no relationship to Good Times. So all the inside puns they won't get because it's based on.
Get it.
So them looking at it news be like, I see this shit every day. This is not a big deal. It'll hold their interest for a little while, but as far as a Netflix series that they're gonna tune in, nah. If it ain't Instagram and TikTok, they're not gonna hold. If this was on TikTok, I think they'd have a better shot. But the fact that it's
Yeah.
on Netflix, my students don't even watch Netflix. They're only on TikTok, Instagram, and
YouTube.
Snapchat, yeah, all of that stuff. They're on social media.
They're on social media.
They're not watching Netflix. There's no series that they say like, oh yeah, I'm watching this Netflix series. They don't have that kind of attention.
And
They
this
watch. Our kids today watch in smaller increments. Their attention span is they can't watch a whole series.
everything is sound bites. Nothing
Yes,
you can, anything outside of 5 minutes.
you gotta
Look,
lose
even music. Music has boiled down to
to
2.5
TikTok.
minutes per song.
They're now
Yeah.
TikTok shorts. That's where they
Yeah,
get their
that's what
songs.
it
They're not
is.
even full songs. They're TikTok shorts.
Yeah.
It's insane. And this goes, and this and the other side to it is that it's further reaching because now we got an upcoming election. And granted, people under 18 aren't voting, so
Right.
there's that part. But the people who are between 18 and 22, they fall in that same demographic of YouTube Shorts, TikTok,
Yes.
Instagram. Everything is like, hit me on my IG. What's up? What's going on IG?
Yeah.
Listen, and like they said, Facebook is for old people.
Yes.
Young people ain't on Facebook.
Right. They're not.
And the sad, and
So
here's the sad part is Facebook started out being for young people.
Right.
So right now, I want to say, I'm gonna read you guys. I'm on Renata Shepherd's Instagram page, and so she put a screenshot only on Netflix, Good Time series, and it's actually has made the top 10 on Netflix, right? Which a lot of new shows and
For
series
now.
do.
For now.
For now. So
For
let's
now.
see. She says, "Oh, she's talking about, hey Beverly, you did that, whatever." Here's some of her, now granted this is her Instagram, so more than likely her supporters are going to
Yes.
have something not
Positive
negative to say.
Yeah.
Right. One person says they put the fire sign. Someone here
burn that shit
says
to the ground. Yeah. Put
right.
The
Someone here says finish the whole season in one day. The show is great. Fire signs. So, so relevant, so funny. Congratulations.
relevant.
Let's go. Let's go.
Bots.
Let's go
Lies,
season
lies,
2.
lies.
Then you got someone else who says finished it in 2 days, loved it. Big congratulations, someone else. Another person, bravo. It's so smart and brave.
Does this sound similar to anybody? Does this sound like anybody to anybody? This
It's
sounds like
interesting.
the Trump. This sounds like Donald Trump.
You
The
know,
lie.
what's interesting about what Wes is reading, it's non-justifiable. Brave. Why don't I want to hear someone go into with depth saying why they think this? Is there
Why do
anything
they
like
think
that
that?
other than
Exactly.
wow, brave? This is great. I saw it in 2 days. Couldn't
No.
stop watching. Wonderful. I mean,
No.
anything?
Well-
Anybody say anything other than one word?
Well, you know how you get that reaction? You want to get that reaction? Somebody's going to have to go in there and be like, at so and so. Oh, it's really that brave? Tell me why it was so brave.
Right.
Tell me why it was so brave. Exactly.
As a matter of fact, what are they on? That you said that's on Instagram?
That's on Instagram. That's Rashada Shepherd's Instagram page where
She
people
wrote that
have
shit
made
herself,
comments.
bro. Come on now.
But these are all different people that
robots.
someone here says, okay, this person says, I'm in the middle of my review per episode. Before I prepare to summary, before I prepare my summary to post. So far, I'm really enjoying it. I had to check it and say, episode 6, brilliant.
Brilliant.
That's what she said. And then someone else here, won't lie, I might have judged the trailer too harshly. I'm really enjoying the show so far. That was somebody else. I'll say like one more. Lived with this. They said lived this with my brother growing up. You did?
A talking baby that sells drugs. Wow,
Right.
that's great.
So incredible to see what you're doing here, Renata. So you had a baby that sold drugs, a baby brother.
Well,
And
see,
yes, okay, we know
you know
that
what
the
happened, Wes?
baby is
No,
still
yeah, we get it.
represents. We
Just like
know that.
Stewie, this
Right.
talking baby. We get that, but it's interesting because again, I'm sure she needs that support because I'm
Yeah.
sure she told all of her followers, "Hey, come on, show some love, show some love." So out
Yeah.
of all of that, none of her followers said, "Hey, girl, what you doing?" No negativity. There's no one that said this is fuckery. What you doing, girl?
Here's another one I want to point out. So someone says, I'm so sorry that you are receiving all of this hate from us, quote unquote. It's really sad, particularly when many of the same people doing whole online smear campaigns on this show will not miss one episode of reality TV shows that will remain nameless. And it says, I get the concept of what you're doing because I watch Family Guy. See? See what we say there. That McFarlane. Zero outrage there. It says zero outrage there, and they're a hot mess. Zero outrage from them, and they're a hot mess.
So that's
right?
a hot mess.
Right.
But this is
So,
brilliant.
Right. From the dog to the elderly neighbor, and let's not mention South Park. I've been watching that since the days of Chef Isaac Hayes. Rest in peace. That's it says here that's the extreme of adult cartoon comedy. I'm looking forward to watching this and creating my opinion from there, not a 15 or 30-second clip. I get what you're doing, and kudos to you and your efforts. So that statement, okay, so basically what this person is saying is we, because she said us, meaning black people, we shouldn't hate on this show because it's black. Because no one's hating on Family Guy and no one's hating on South Park.
Because the
South
shit is
Park, a
funny.
show,
The shit is
right?
funny.
At least it's funny.
It's funny.
Right. And I was never a big South Park fan. But I've seen a couple I've seen some
Yeah,
episodes
me either. I've
of
never
it.
been a big South Park.
Not a big South Park fan. I'm by no means am I a South Park fan.
Right.
I've seen several episodes. Some of it I laugh at. South Park itself, some of it I laugh at, but I don't really find it funny.
Right.
To be honest. But I do watch Family Guy. I do. And I do find it funny.
It's funny
right?
as hell. Yeah.
It's funny. But why should we not so we should just forget about all the stuff that we just because basically what this person is talking about is us.
We
All
can't
these people got
scrutinize.
all
In
this
other words,
hate.
we can't scrutinize anything. We shouldn't judge. We can't. Why can't we put you up to the same caliber? Why can't we hold you to the same standard as we do everyone else? Just because you're black, we got to give you a pass for fuckery? For fuckery? Come on.
Exactly. Yeah. Now that's crazy. But I saw that and I said, wow. Now I remember seeing she probably took a lot of the bad comments down because I remember coming to her page and I saw a lot of backlash. It was right after the trailer dropped. And but so now people are sitting here saying, Huh. Well, I watched the whole thing, and it's not as bad as I
I
thought.
judged
No,
it too early.
I
Oh,
judged
it's
it too
brilliant.
harshly.
I get what you're doing. I don't get what you're doing. I don't think it's brilliant. I have no idea where this is going. I have no idea why it even exists. I don't know who the audience is. I don't know that show to me is almost as if it was done as a parody, like a one-off as a parody. Like imagine if we did some straight fuckery. It reminds me of Bamboozled, which I'm watching now. It's like
Yeah.
let's make it so bad, so ratchet that will open up their eyes to say like, okay, we're just kidding. We're not gonna put that shit out there.
Yeah.
It's so
Here's an
bad.
interesting comment from Cree Summer, as we all know, a legendary voice actor, in the game. She comments, "Incredible creation, sis. Beyond proud of you and the cast." So that's what she put. Now, once again, you gotta remember these are people that
This is
are their
sisterhood.
supporters.
This
This
is
is her
sisterhood,
sisterhood.
bro.
This is her supporters. So you can't be too surprised that people are gonna put
Right.
positive stuff, because not everyone's gonna jump on it and say this is a piece of garbage,
Because
right?
you because
Especially on her thing.
they want to support her.
Yeah, they want to support her because remember, she's the showrunner. This is her first like big opportunity to run a show.
Hopefully
Because
her
her background is she had a
fuckery.
show. Yeah, for her background, she had a show called Act Your Age. She was a co-executive producer. She had one episode there as a producer. As a writer, there was a show called Young Love. It was a TV series. She wrote 2 episodes. Act Your Age. She wrote 2 episodes. Diary of a Future President. She wrote 1 episode.
Never heard any of this shit. But anyway,
I never heard of them.
I think regardless, Wes, this shit needs to be burnt to the fucking ground. Let me be clear. Okay, sister. So you want to say you want us just to throw out the whole idea that you just set us back 50 years and support you because you're one of us. That's what you want me to do? Say like, bravo, excellent.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, groundbreaking. No, it's not. If you really want to be honest,
yeah.
If you really want to support this sister, you'll say, stop doing that bullshit. Write something respectful.
Write
Take
something
that fuckery
respectful,
off the air.
insightful.
I don't see it going
something...
another season. I don't see that shit.
I don't see it going another season. We'll see. Now, here's before we wrap the show up, here's a question. That thing you just talked about, and what I read, it leads me to, I think I'm gonna put a poll out there. That's gonna be my final thing. I want to know, should we give this show a chance just because it's made by Black people? I want to know what people actually think.
I did give it a chance. I watched 1 episode and I'm good. Good.
Exactly.
I'm good. I watched 1
exactly.
episode.
Because watching 1 episode is giving it a chance.
I gave it a chance.
Technically, even though I kind of watched it because I knew I was going to come on here and talk about it. But at the same time, that is technically giving it a chance.
Give
right?
it a chance.
So my thing is, I'm going to do a poll of what are your thoughts on the new Good Times animated series? And then I'm going to put a multiple choice of I like it, I hate it, or I'm just going to support it because it's Black.
No,
I want to see how many
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Okay.
I like it. I hate it.
Right.
I'm just supporting it because it's Black. And here's the interesting thing. On the tagline, I noticed it said, Good Times, Black again.
Black again.
Black again. I thought it said back again. I said, does it say Black again?
Yeah.
It says Black again. What the fuck does that mean? Black again. I don't understand.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means. Black again.
I
They
can't.
they got these fucking corny ass puns and
Yeah,
tongue in cheek.
terrible.
It's horrible. It's
Terrible.
not even funny. That's the tagline. That's the best you could come
Yeah.
up with. Good times,
Yep.
black again. Okay,
Yep.
all right.
So
Groundbreaking.
here's the episode list. Meet the Evans of New. Right. Episode 2 was called Black of Focus. Episode 3 is called Grey's Anatomy because the character name is Grey. That's the
Grey.
girl. That's her anatomy. Okay, how clever is that? All right, Grey's Anatomy is the name.
Groundbreaking.
It says here when Grey gets her first period, she and Beverly enter a magical world of womanhood.
Hilarious.
Junior's creativity proves lucrative after an unexpected mix-up. Then episode 4 is called "They Came Before Elon." That's the episode that there's an Elon Musk cameo. This is what I tell people. Everybody, why you don't F with Elon Musk? I'm telling you right now, that dude is a weirdo. He is the devil. That's why I don't
Elon Musk is not a weirdo. Elon Musk is a racist. Period. He supports apartheid. He is a South African born racist.
South African
Period.
born.
And listen,
And he's
Elon
still a
Musk
weirdo.
is,
He looks
Elon
weird.
Musk is doing a lot for humanity. He's doing a lot for humanity with his technologies and stuff that he's doing, and I tip my hat to him in that respect. Outside of that, that dude is a complete racist.
Yeah. So episode 5, primary coloreds. Beverly makes a bold decision to change the system from within. Reggie and Junior face an equally big challenge, cleaning the apartment. Episode 6, that was episode 5. Episode 6, The Red Treaty. Episode 7, #Black Love Day. Episode 8, Big Sister is Watching. A bizarre twist of fate transforms one of the Evanses into a crime fighter and another into a supervillain.
They turned one of them into a writer.
I don't know.
Because they could use
Episode
one.
9. Moving on out. Tempted by the system, Beverly makes a choice that puts everyone at risk. Reggie and Junior find themselves at opposite sides of the law. And episode 10, The Projects Divided. As the major changes rock the projects, friends and family square off, and frustration erupts throughout the neighborhood. So everybody's that's probably one of those clips where they had everybody the shooting going across the buildings, shooting guns,
at point blank range. Everyone's just pow,
right.
pow, pow, pow.
Everybody just shooting at everybody because that's how black people that's how we handle all of our differences.
Right.
You didn't know that, did you, Bruce?
Right.
You didn't know that. Yeah. That's how we handle our differences. We shoot at each other
from point blank range.
Gun in each hand.
Gun in each hand.
This is how we settle our differences, in case people didn't know that.
In closing, Wes, I did give it a chance. I feel like I gave it a chance. And I don't want any part of this. Now, they can say, it's very short-sighted. You should watch the whole thing. I've seen enough where I feel comfortable enough to make my judgment on what I'm looking at. Because you can't give me coonery buffoonery in one episode and it's like, but it gets better. No. See, the fact that the whole thing, the whole premise of the show is bad. So are there bright spots? I'm sure there's some bright spots. I'm not saying there's no bright spots. I'm sure there's some bright spots in it, but it's not enough. Probably. It's not enough where the harm and detriment that it's doing it's outweighed by that. So even I go like this on everything because you're gonna find some good in everything. You can't say,
Yeah.
oh, everything's horrible. I listed a lot of things I don't like about it. Are there bright spots? I'm sure there is. I didn't see any. And I know Good Times. It's the original sitcoms backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
Almost every line to every episode I can quote.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
speak from that. I speak from that vantage point. I also can appreciate good writing, good directing, and I see none of that going on. Now, will it get better? Possibly, but I don't want to invest my time to find out. That's
To
the whole
find
thing. I don't want to invest my
exactly.
time to hope that it gets better.
Yeah.
The
When you
premise
should
is
have came
wrong.
out the gate with it.
The
Because all of the
premise is
people
wrong.
that's premise is wrong, and all the different people that worked on this, and there are some good, talented people that worked on this
I'm
project.
sure there is. Yeah.
You know, Masai Martin, she's a young phenom almost, one of the youngest producers, out there, especially being black. She was producing right off of Blackish. You know what I mean? She's producing her own films and stuff like that. Great talent, very young girl, very articulate, something like that. Beautiful. A lot of great talent on here. Jay Farrow is probably one of the best impressionists
Absolutely.
out there. Period.
Absolutely.
Right? A lot of good. JB Smooth, funny guy. Lot of good
A
talented
lot of
people
talent.
working on this. And that the reason why I didn't lean on them is because it is what it is. I'm not gonna sit there and because we don't know what everyone's circumstances was when they got started.
Right.
We do also know that not everyone has the luxury of walking away from a project. All
They gotta
right,
eat. They
because
gotta eat.
you're under contract, right? You got to eat. That's the first one. But number two is you're under contract. So yeah, some may let you walk, some may not. You don't know the
One thing.
circumstances
One
of
thing
it.
I don't think. One thing I think we have to hold their feet to the fire,
Mm-hmm.
and we got to call out fuckery when we see it.
Yeah.
As a community, not only as artists and directors and producers.
Yeah.
You really want to support your community? Tell them no when they fuck up like this. Tell them to
Yeah.
say, listen, you're talented and everything, but we could do better than this shit.
Yeah.
We could do
Yeah.
better than this. Okay, you had
Yeah.
to do it. You feel it was a good concept in the beginning, then it went left. Whatever, even if you think it's a great concept, we owe it to them to call bullshit on fuckery like
Yeah.
this. And this is straight
Yeah.
coonery, buffoonery, fuckery.
Yeah.
And I owe
And
it
I
to all those young black
Yep.
talented brothers and sisters working on it to say
Yep.
you got to do better than that.
You gotta do better. Yeah, that's true.
You
Because
owe it to us. You
that's
owe it
what
to
we
the
don't
community.
that's what we don't have anymore as much as we should have. The people like us who are the older, the generation, whatever, we got to hold them accountable to that degree where we call it out and say, listen, I'm not going to lean on you and say you this. I ain't going to call you this. I ain't going to do that.
Right.
But
right.
you got to think about what you did. It reminds me, you told me this story years ago, and it stuck with me because I know it stuck with you because it was said to you by your father, where he said, don't laugh at that, son. You're laughing at yourself. That is one of the most profound things that I've heard. When you told me that, and I believe you were watching what?
I was watching
Little
the
Rascals?
Little Rascals. I was sitting in the middle of the floor watching it, laughing. My father looked over and said, don't laugh at that, son. They're not laughing with you. They're laughing at you. And he never said anything else in that. And that stuck with me to today. And the fact that I told you that years ago. Now, mind you, my father died 50 years ago.
Right.
And it's still relevant today.
It's
Don't
still
laugh
relevant
at that,
today.
son. Don't laugh at that, son. They're laughing at you, not with you. So I say the same thing about Good Times. Don't laugh at that. They're not laughing with you. They're laughing at you.
They're laughing at you. And I mean, that's a good way to end it on that note. I mean, I appreciate you joining us, Bruce.
No, I had a good time.
Uh,
Thank you for having me.
You had a good time.
That's the only good times we fucking
That's
had.
the only good time we had since the 70s.
Since the 70s, it's the first good time we had.
But we appreciate you joining us, man. Definitely, come back whenever you want to, brother.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
be well. You guys be
You too,
well. Have a
man.
great show. And I'll see you on the other side of this fuckery.
All
All
right,
right,
Bruce.
man.
Have
I'll
a good
talk
one,
to you
man.
later.
All right.
Peace out. So, but yeah, I had to bring that up, bro, because he told me that story maybe almost 20 years ago. And I said, and like I said, it wasn't even said to me, it was said to him, but it still resonated with me, and he didn't, the father didn't offer any explanation or anything like that. He left it up to Bruce
To figure
to
out why.
figure out why exactly. And I thought that was a great thing
But
that
you
he
know what?
said to his son.
You know what's funny about that is I think that's why me and Bruce get along so well, because we kind of sort of had the same kind of upbringing. Because it wasn't with Little Rascals with us, but it was with Elvis. One day, me and my brother was in the room, black and white TV, dancing to something Elvis had on TV, and because my dad is from Memphis, South Memphis, came right in the room, smacked the off button. If I ever catch y'all watching that again, I'll beat your ass. Don't ever. And walked out of the room. There was no
Yeah.
explanation. And listen, from that point forward, I didn't understand what he meant until I became a young adult. Then I was like, oh, okay, I get it. All right, yeah, I understand. But as a kid, it's just like, yo, it's Elvis.
Yeah,
What are you
just
doing?
like, oh, it's Elvis. What's the big deal? And yeah, and when you look at those things, and I think back because I had way less, I had way more liberal, whatever you want to call it, opportunity when it came to TV. Like I pretty much watched whatever I wanted to. Number one, because I was home alone a lot because my parents worked, both of them. So I pretty much watched what I wanted to. And then, after Bruce told me that story, I thought about some of the things that I've seen and watched throughout the years, and like even let's even think about it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I watched a lot of these shows not knowing the context behind the root of them. Perfect example is the Dukes of Hazzard, right? Dukes of Hazzard, perfect example. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Before I knew what the symbol of the General Lee and all that stuff meant, I loved the General Lee.
Listen,
That car.
my mother is from Memphis. And I mean from Georgia, Forsyth, Georgia. One of the most racist countries in the South, one of the most racist cities in the South.
Yeah.
She went to the Five and Dime and bought us a General Lee because she liked the show.
Yeah, because right. So, like I said, don't get me wrong. There are, and let's to be honest with you. Unlike this show, I'm gonna keep it real. Some of these shows had good writing in them. Some of them, right? And to the point where we missed some of that stuff. We didn't see the undertone of it and whatever. And we just looked at the characters in the show, and that was it. I liked it because I liked the cars chases. I liked them, whatever. Almost every time the car was doing some sort of jump, and they be yelling, "Yeehaw!" And I didn't even know what the hell that was supposed to be, but I'm just like, oh, yeah, it is, So my point is, I started looking back at a lot of shows that I watched, and I'm like, oh wow, you don't see this stuff until you really think about it. Because like Bruce said when he was on here, when we're kids, we're not really thinking about what's going on. We're just being entertained. We're just watching.
And it's not until it's that now that's the one thing I can say that was brought to my attention early. Like I think I was in it was a little while after the Dukes of Hazzard had went off air I remember me and some of my classmates, we were sitting around talking about it, and
Yeah.
one of the older classmates that was sitting at the lunch table with us was like, "Hey, yeah, yeah, well, y'all talking about y'all like that racist ass show? Like, don't y'all know it was called the General Lee?" And we were like, "What were you talking about, the General Lee?" And like, General Lee, and then it like just clicked, like, oh shit, General Lee. Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The main wake up call for me, and I guess because of the town that I grew up in, a lot of the stuff, like, we just got clicked onto it a little bit early. Like, even like some of, like, we used to love to watch, Bugs Bunny and Woody Woodpecker, and especially a lot of the Tex Avery cartoons. And
Yeah.
some of them things, man. Number one, that was a point I wanted to bring up while Bruce was on too. The Bugs Bunny and all of that stuff back in the day, that actually wasn't for us. Bugs Bunny and all of that stuff was actually originally started in the movie theaters, and it was played out in between movies. It was like it was like played out, like it was like cartoons, the news, or the news, cartoons, and then the movie. And it was like an in between, like an intermission thing in between movies, that they would show cartoons, and that's where like Bugs Bunny and all that stuff started. So it's kind of like it's a it became adapted into becoming like, Warner Brothers thing, and becoming like a regular thing, like when we were growing up in the 70s and in the 80s, and even in the 60s. If you were watching TV, like, you grew up with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and Elmer Fudd and all of them, obviously the cartoons progressed as they went on, but
Yeah.
there was always that element of the, and you can't call it buffoonery, but it was always that element
Yeah.
of gags.
Yeah.
It was gag cartooning.
Yeah.
And when it came to, I said all that to say, is when black people were doing it, like with Amos and Andy, black people ripped them apart. And if you really go back and look at the Amos and Andy show, it was just comedy. It wasn't no buffoonery. It wasn't no craziness going on. But because we're so over judgmental about ourselves, the show didn't do what it was supposed to do, and didn't go as far as it should have went. But Amos and
Yeah.
Andy, I mean, now you even mentioned the name Amos and Andy. I pretty much know that. I can pretty much say that probably most of our listeners don't even know who that is.
No. No. Most probably don't. And man, it's so much to go on about it, right? And but at the end of the day, I want to wrap it up by saying, I'm definitely putting that poll up right after we're done here. I'm going to put that poll up and put it out there. I'm going to put it on Instagram, Facebook. I'm putting it out there, and I want people to answer it truthfully, because I am really interested in knowing how much of that small group of people are watching and paying attention, because I'm gonna ask, what are your thoughts on the new Good Times animated series? Like I said, love it, hate it, or I'm just supporting it because it's black people. Because to be honest with you, is for that person that was saying, and like I said, she was a supporter of the producer and the showrunner, so you can't really take too much on that. But what she was saying was, yeah, it's a shame that black folks is you getting so much negative hate from us, from our people, when there's no outrage with Family Guy and this, that, and the other. But see, the point is the outrage, and that's why I said I watched this show a couple of times so I can try to watch it with a neutral eye, buffoonery aside, and I'm saying like it's not a well structured show. All right, Family Guy doesn't resonate with me at all. Neither does this show. But what I mean is, I'm not per se insulted by Family Guy unless there are Family Guy has their moments where they do their stereotypes, and like I said, this is on all people, not just black people. Family Guy, anyone can get it, right? We all know that. That's their model. Anyone can get it. You know, they got jokes about 9/11. They got jokes about, there is no holes barred with them, right? So, but yeah, the stuff that I see happening from Family Guy is, I do laugh at it because it's something that I definitely don't get insulted by, because it's just a bunch of foolishness, going on. They see how ridiculous they can be with their cutaways and stuff like that. That's their thing that they lean on. This one here, to try to sell this to me as some form of the black experience, you're insulting my intelligence. That's why I don't like it. Because, like I said, and of course, being a fan of Good Times, the original, and the spirit of it, I don't like that. I probably would have gave this less energy if it wasn't called Good Times. And if they wasn't going with that, if they just made some regular family, I still would say it's coonery and buffoonery and foolishness, but I'd still feel that way if let's just say the story is the same, different family, no, they're not whatever, and it's called something else. I probably wouldn't give it this much energy, and I wouldn't give it to, but at the same time, I'd still call it out for what it is, just like if I, call anything else out for what it is. So in close, I'm just gonna say, definitely not definitely worse than what I expected, and I pray that they don't get another season. I know that kind of sucks for the people that work on it, because they want to work and they want to get another season. I wish you all the well, but even Renata, she's the showrunner, and I'm sure this is it's her first big thing when she went. That's big, because if you put yourself in her shoes, I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to produce this, but regardless of the fact, forget about all that. She, this is what she does for a living. She's showrunner of this show, so I'm sure she's excited, and her supporters are gonna support her. Good for you. All right, but I do hope that this, I hope and pray that this thing doesn't see the light of day for a second season, and I just hope that people continue, to really the most people that are speaking out or whatever. Now, we're not gonna have a freaking million man march about it, but I'm just saying, people we'll just see what y'all's opinions are. I'm really interested in seeing what people's opinions are going forward and what they think they're gonna do to support this. Are they just gonna support it just because Family Guy? Because white people watch Family Guy. White people and black people watch Family Guy. This is something that's aimed, allegedly targeted towards black demographic, and there's nothing in here that should be amusing to white people unless they're just racist.
Listen, what did I say earlier? I told you this is. I honestly believe this is not made for us. This is made for them. This is like Birth of a Nation, and I'm not talking about the what's call it flick. I'm talking about the first
Yeah,
Birth of a Nation.
the original.
This is
Yeah.
like that, but
Well,
on a
that's
different
why the
scale.
title of this episode was, the question was asked because someone mentioned it in an article, that these guys, this is a modern day minstrel show. A bunch of yeah, you see a bunch of black faces, but the puppet master holding the strings.
Mm-hmm.
white people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The people behind the faces, behind the black faces, including, whatever, are not black. And they, that's why they went out of their way to show you that uh, there's a black man who is at the top of the credits as the executive producer, Steph Curry. Black showrunner, not a shepherd. Black writers, right? All black cast. So that now they can paint all of this up saying this is an all black cast, black writers room, black showrunner.
It's exactly what I said earlier. In order to push the narrative, you need to have what we like to call is that you need the token blacks on board to make it good. And they're thinking that having Steph Curry on the squad is just going to make it okay. And like I said, that dude is problematic from jump because he doesn't even believe in Section 8 or public housing or something crazy like that. He said, not understanding what the purpose of low income housing is, so that people who can't afford. The whole purpose of Section 8 is to help people who can't afford high absorbent rents to be able to pay their rent so they can have a damn roof over their head. So they're not out living on Skid Row somewhere. That's the whole purpose of Section 8. So there's nothing wrong with if you're out there and you get Section 8, listen, it's nothing wrong with that. Or if you live in assisted living, there's nothing wrong with that. Your finances do not permit you. You're living your wage. Your finances don't permit you to live greater than that. So you're doing what you're supposed to. And people like Steph Curry are problematic. And it's a shame that he's even signed his name to this. But I want to believe what you said earlier, that maybe they didn't. You and Bruce alluded to this, that maybe they didn't know what it was going to turn out to be. They, thought, oh,
That's
good
what I
times.
hope.
Okay.
That's what I hope.
I
But
believe so.
we'll see. It's gonna all like they say. I think Wendy Williams might have made that term famous. I don't know who made it famous, but they say if it don't come out in the wash, it'll come out in the rinse.
Rinse.
Eventually, it's gonna
come out.
So we'll see. We want to thank Bruce Penn for joining us, and everybody on there. The NBA, the WNBA draft, is it over now, or it's not over yet? I don't think, but it's well into probably the second round by now. We definitely want to congratulate all of the young athletes. It says it's an intermission. It says first intermission. Oh yeah, it's over now. It's hockey now. But anyway, congratulate all of the young athletes, young women athletes that were drafted to the teams. And like I said before, I look forward to seeing. I look forward, and I'm gonna be honest. Like I said, this group of women and the ones that are coming behind them next year or maybe the year after, whatever, they made me interested in seeing what's going to happen in the WNBA. Because I don't know if I may have watched in the whole entire existence of WNBA, maybe I've watched about not even a handful of games, because I was on board with it when it first started. I was on board with it. Then it had ebbs and flows. I was on board with it when, you got that. You always get, almost every season, you get that one superstar that comes out. So when Sue Bird came out, when Shamika Holslaw came out and came into the league and stuff, those were special. You always have that special generational talented person that you follow. So this is what they're doing, but they're also making it. I'm actually willing to follow them, So the Chicago Sky, or whatever they call itself, drafted 2 players that I was watching in college, Angel Reese and Carmela Cardosa, who actually has some. I think people will watch it just for the fact that it's gonna be interesting to. Which, of course, obviously, it's all competitiveness, but they've had their battles on the court. It's just like what happens in the NBA when you got somebody like what's his name? I can't think of his name right now, but anybody. Let's just say when Dennis Rodman came to the Chicago Bulls, everyone was interested in seeing how that dynamic was gonna work out, because Dennis Rodman had famously had a lot of run-ins with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen in the Bulls when he was on the Pistons. And a lot of rough fights and this and that, and everybody was wondering, oh, how's that gonna work out? But you're grown men, and in this case, you're grown women. You're competitive. That's just on the court. You're gonna go at it on the court, but now they're teammates. So this should be interesting. It should be an interesting thing, and we know Caitlin Clark is gonna be watching her, because she is bringing. I mean, just to give you an idea, not only did the ticket sales for home games and season tickets for the Indiana whatever they call Lightning or whatever they call, for them skyrocketed. Not only that, their opponents' tickets skyrocketed. So teams that they're playing are selling out tickets is more than they've ever before, just because, and this was before Caitlin Clark was even drafted there. They just knew she was going to be drafted there. So everyone already just went ahead and started buying tickets. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out in her favor or not in her favor, and see how she overcomes it. So that's it. We'll definitely get back at y'all next week. And yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting. So we'll get at y'all next week, man. Peace out, love, and Shana na na. Peace.